So, you want some advice on the Drake. You don't want to post it online because you know you're going to get a million, and I mean it, a million different responses saying all the same thing. The Drake is underpowered. You should just be using an animal companion. Even a standard horse is better than the Drake. They're wrong. They're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. Stay tuned.
Dun 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 dun. B-sides.
Hello, and welcome to Pathfinder B-Sides. I am your host, Professor Phoenix. Today we're going to be talking about the Drake, animal companion, and instead of giving you my amazing and most opulent opinion on it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you everything that it actually talks about for the Drake class, and then at the end of it, give you my thoughts on exactly the best way to have a Drake as a companion. So, this is going to be a long video. Just a heads up. If you want to pause it and come back later, that's cool. If you want to start it up and minimize it and have it on blast while you're like, I don't know, cleaning a living room or a kitchen or doing dishes or something, that's cool too. I will be having some visual things up on the screen like tables and options and stuff like that, but you can always come back and watch it later or go to the link that's in the description that'll take you straight to the Drake Animal Companion page. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, to start, let's go with the flavor text from the D20 PFSRD. Drakes are brutish, lesser kindred of true dragons. Though they aren't particularly intelligent, drakes' significantly faster breeding allows their kind to survive in harsh environments. A few organizations have developed methods for rearing and training drakes. Their techniques allow some to transform these wild dragonkin into allies as devoted as they are deadly. A drake can be a powerful ally to one who understands how to deal with its surly and obstinate attitude. Such a character is called a drake's charge, as drakes refuse to refer to another being as their master. While drake companions enjoy accumulating hordes of shining treasures, they adamantly refuse to wear barding, armor, or clothing items of any kind. So no belts, no boots, and so on. They can wear magical jewelry such as amulets or rings, but will agree to wear only one such item. Drake companions are not animal companions and do not count as animal companions for any purpose, including handle animal checks and tricks. Additionally, they are fairly lazy, and successful diplomacy or intimidate checks are needed to convince them to fatigue themselves or take major risks to their lives. Without the Mount Drake power, a Drake companion actively refuses to suffer a rider and fights a rider it has not agreed to every step of the way, even if that rider is its charge. Drake companions are extreme oddities among drakes and irreplaceable to their charges, as it takes years to win a drake's trust. As such, should a drake companion die, her charge doesn't gain a replacement drake companion and must restore the companion from the dead. At the GM's discretion, a charge who lost his drake might be able to bond with a new drake after going on a quest to find another special drake and spending several years bonding with the new one. All right, so now that we've actively have gone over the flavor of this, let's dive in and think about it for a second. So what it's saying is you won't be able to use any feats that can strengthen your Drake companion. So no boon companion, nothing that boosts their level because this is not an animal companion. This is a Drake companion. Apparently, it's completely different. So now let's go over what the Drake gets when it starts off. All right. As the Drake increases in power, it gains the special abilities described below. All right. So you're going to be getting dark vision of a range of 60 feet. You're going to be getting low light vision, where drakes see twice as far as humans in dim light. You're going to be getting immunities, where you're immune to sleep and paralysis. Your drake is also going to have a subtype, all right, where each drake has an energy or elemental subtype, either aether, air, cold, earth, fire, or water, and you gain a free drake power based on its subtype. When the charge reach first level, Aether dragons gain magic attacks. Air drakes gain glide. Earth drakes gain burrow. and water drakes gain swim. When their charges reach 3rd level, fire drakes gain breath weapon fire, and cold drakes gain breath weapon cold. So that's basically a free power you're going to get based on whichever kind of drake you get. So next up, every so often as you level up with the drake, you're going to be getting something called a drake power. You'll be getting a drake power at 3rd level, 7th level, 11th level, 15th level, and at 19th level. Now, I was able to talk my game master into letting me use my Drake's feats for a homebrewed feat called Bonus Drake Power, where you can basically take an extra Drake power instead of a feat. And this way you can kind of round out your guy with more of the powers and feel more dragon-esque and less unpowerful. But, that's that's homebrew stuff. Talk to your GM and see what they think. You're also going to be increasing your natural armor bonus by 2 when you reach 3rd level and every 3 levels thereafter. You're also going to be gaining ability score increases uh, at 5th level and every 5 levels after that. So you got 5th, 10th, 15th, and 20th levels. So you're going to be getting a +1 to ability scores like once every 5 levels. So that's good because there's other things that you don't worry, your Drake's going to be taken care of. And this is how you're going to be getting something called a size increase. The Drake matures further and advances a size category when the charge reaches 5th level and every 4 levels thereafter. Each time this occurs, the Drake's natural armor bonus to its AC increases by 2. Its natural attacks increase in damage based on the new size category, and it gains the following ability score adjustments. The strength goes up by 4, the dexterity drops by 2, and constitution goes up by 2. When the Drake reaches medium size, its speed increases from 20 feet to 30 feet. Those are the things that are going to happen as you level up. But to start, if you get your Drake at level 1, and your Drake is 1st level as well, because that's going to be the way it works almost all the way across the board, it's going to start off as tiny in size. The alignment is going to be any non-good. So any paladin that's out there is going to be lawful. Or he's going to be chaotic neutral, lawful neutral, neutral neutral, or evil. Just keep in mind, whatever you're working with, your Drake is not going to be of the good alignment at all. I mean, adds for fun as far as I can tell. Its base speed is going to be 20 feet. It does not start being able to fly or anything. It's just basically going to crawl everywhere. The attack, it has a bite which does 1d3 and a tail that does 1d3. And its ability scores are going to start off at strength of 8, dexterity 17, constitution 11, intelligence is 4, wisdom is 10, and charisma is 7. It's going to be speaking Draconic only. Maybe later on you can talk it into learning a new language like Common, but starting off you're going to be just getting Draconic, just straight Draconic. Next up, we're going to talk about its skills that it gets. The skills the Drake gets. You're going to be starting off with 3 skills at 1st level, 6 at 2nd, 9 at 3rd. So basically until you have a positive intelligence modifier, you're going to be getting just 3 skills each level. All right. The following skills are class skills for the Drake. It gets appraise, bluff, climb, craft, diplomacy, fly, heal, intimidate, all the knowledges. It gets linguistics. That's how you get it to speak common or dwarven or whatever. Perception, sense motive, spellcraft, stealth, survival, swim, and use magic device. So any of you out there that want to give your Drake companion a wand and be like, "Hey, use this if I die," or on yourself if you're about to die, it can take UMD. So, there it is. Let's see. Next up, we're going to be going over all of the Drake powers, all right? So I'm just going to go down the list and explain what each one is. The first Drake power that's on the list is called Aether Bite. The Drake's Bite applies 1.5 times its strength modifier to the damage dealt by its bite attack, and its bite attack deals full damage to incorporeal creatures. To select Aether Bite, a Drake must have the Aether subtype, and the Drake's charge must be at least 7th level. So that's going to be how you get into attacking ghosts and spirits. And I mean, if you're doing an undead campaign, this seems like the way to go. You want to get an Aether Dragon, but I'm sure Fire Breath would do the exact same deal, other than not biting, and we'll get to that. Next up, we've got Blind Sense. The Drake gains Blind Sense out to a range of 10 feet. To select Blind Sense, a Drake must have Scent, and the Drake's charge must be at least 11th level. And Blind Sense is pretty baller. Blind Sense, if you've ever come up against anything that's, invisible, let's go in detail straight from the D20 PFSRD. Blind Sense lets a creature notice things it cannot see, but without the precision of blind sight. The creature with Blind Sense actually does not need to make perception checks to notice and locate creatures within range of its Blind Sense ability, provided that it has line of effect to that creature. Any opponent that cannot be seen has total concealment, which is 50% mischance, against a creature with blind sense. And the blind sensing creature still has the normal mischance when attacking foes that have concealment. Visibility still affects the movement of a creature with blind sense. A creature with blind sense is still denied its dexterity bonus to AC against attacks from creatures it cannot see. So, if they're invisible, instead of just completely missing, you get 50% mischance, and that's only within 10 feet. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's just, you know, it's dragon-like, it's dragon adjacent. So next up, we've got the breath weapon, which I know a lot of you are looking forward to. The Drake chooses acid, cold, electricity, or fire, and gains a breath weapon it can use once per day that fires a glob of chosen energy up to 60 feet. It deals 46 points of damage of the appropriate type in a 10-foot radius spread, and it gets to save with a reflex half. So the DC would be 10 plus half the Drake's hit die plus the Drake's Constitution modifier. So if your Drake has 14 Constitution and it's level, so let's call it level 10 for being easy, then that's going to be half of 10 is 5. The Constitution modifier is going to be a +2. The DC is going to be 17. So if they roll and they make, I don't know, they roll an 18 total, then they're going to be saving for half of that damage, which I'm sure you already know by now, but I'm just kind of nailing the point home. And you can do that once per day. And there's no level that you have to be to use that one, so that's pretty solid. The next step is going to be Breath Weapon Improved, where the Drake's Breath Weapon has a 15-foot radius, deals 66 points of damage, and can be used 3 times per day, though it must wait 1d4 rounds between each use. To select Improved Breath Weapon, a Drake must have Breath Weapon, and its charge must be at least 11th level. You're going to be waiting on that one, but when you do, it's going to go up 2 extra d6, and you can do it 3 times a day, and that's pretty solid. So, and then it like flies off, and while you wait the 1d4 rounds, you come back and do another lovely radius spread of 66 damage. All right, and then the last step in that breath weapon is Breath Weapon Greater. The Drake's Breath Weapon has a 20-foot radius, deals 8d6 points of damage, and can be used 5 times per day, though it must still wait 1d4 rounds between uses. To select this, a Drake must have the Breath Weapon and Improved Breath Weapon, and its charge must be at least 15th level. Once again, at this point, your Drake is going to be pretty big and pretty beautiful, and just unleashing torrents of nasty flame or acid all over the place. And generally with the breath weapon, you want to try to keep it, thematic. So no, no, no red drake shooting out cold blasts. Like that would just kind of defeat the purpose of having a drake that is colored. That's my opinion. Whatever. We'll get back to it. So next up, we're going to talk about Burrow. the Drake gains a burrow speed of 10 feet. Now, I know what y'all are saying. Y'all are like, why in the world would you have burrow when you could be picking fly? Like, I would want my Drake to fly. And what's the point of going through the earth? And I'll tell you, like, when your Drake is tiny or small or medium, and you're still, you're going up and fights, and it's flying through the air, and it's trying to, you know, bite your enemy's head off, and your enemy gets it down to really low health. Like, you want it to burrow, you want it to go under the ground and just avoid all different kinds of attacks, because not that many things can see underground, except for earth elementals maybe, and you know things with blind sense and blind sight. But hey, there we go. And then you can actually take burrow improved, and the Drake's burrow speed improves to 30 feet. And to select improved burrow, a Drake must have burrow in the earth subtype, and its charge must be at least 7th level. All right, and that's if you want to, like, maybe you're doing an underground campaign or you're going into a lot of caves. This would be pretty useful, because what it could do is it could burrow through walls, get on the other side, and unlock the door if you felt so inclined. All right, so next up, we've got Energy Bite. The Drake's Bite deals 1d6 extra points of damage of the same energy type as its breath weapon. To select Energy Bite, a Drake must have breath weapon in the cold or fire subtype, and its charge must be at least 7th level. So this is how you get your Drake to do an extra bit of damage along with its bite. So by 7th level, your Drake is going to be doing 1d6 plus its strength damage, actually 1.5 times its strength damage. And what it can do is it bites, and let's say every time it bites, it coughs some of its fire or its ice over onto whatever it's biting, and just flavor wise, it's great. And then flavor wise, your Drake's gonna enjoy whatever it's tasting, because let's be honest, cold dragons, white dragons, they always love cold food. And red dragons, they enjoy something a little bit spicier. But hey, let's talk about this, okay? So next up, we've got flight. The Drake gains a fly speed of 40 feet clumsy. To select flight, a Drake must have glide, and its charge must be at least 7th level. So again, it would have to have glide, and its charge has to be at least 7th level. So let's say you're one of those classes that gets to ride animals or whatever, right? And you get a Drake companion, and you're like, shoot, yeah, I'm gonna fly on this bad, you know, this wonderful, wonderful Drake, this wonderful companion. Well, generally speaking, you're only gonna be able to ride it if you are one size smaller than the Drake. So if you're medium, you won't be able to ride your dragon until about 13th level. And if you're small, you won't be able to ride your dragon until 9th level. So go ahead and start getting them powers in early if you can. Let's see, next up, after flight, there's going to be flight improved. The Drake's fly speed improves to 60 feet average. To select improved flight, a Drake must have glide and flight, and its charge must be at least 11th level. So again, get that flight improved as you can. Next up, we've got flight greater. The Drake's fly speed improves to 80 feet good. To select greater flight, a Drake must have glide, flight, improved flight in the air subtype, and its charge must be at least 15th level. So the good news about that is if you get an air Drake, it's going to start off with glide, which means you're going to be taking flight, improved flight, and you'll have room for something else, so maybe mount. So that way by the time it hits 15th level, you'll be able to take greater flight. And then suddenly you're going to be a flying, crazy, awesome guy, which I know generally there's probably 80% of you are out there thinking, Look, man, if I wanted to fly, I'd be using the fly spell or have the wizard cast fly on me, or there's feats I can take that would let me fly, or this reason, or this reason, or this reason. And unfortunately, you're right. You're absolutely right to have these thoughts, except for the part where you want to enjoy a game where you actually get to, have flavor. And whenever someone else is sitting there and going, why, why aren't you just using fly? You're an ASMR. Get the wings. That's 2 feats to get in there. I don't want the wings. I want to have a really awesome, as close as I can get to a dragon and fly on them. I'm sorry. I'm letting my emotions get in there. Let's move on. So the next one is glide. The drake is able to take rakes and fly. It can slow its fall to 60 feet per round, and it takes no falling damage as long as it can take actions and succeeds at a DC 15 fly check each round. As it falls, it can take a move action to move up to 30 feet laterally, so that's, across in a straight line, or 2 move actions to move up to 60 feet laterally in a straight line. The drake can't gain height while gliding. So that's pretty useful if you're falling and the wizard's like, hey, look, so I've got feather fall prepared or a scroll of it because, I'm a good wizard, but I can only hit this many of us. I don't think I'm going to be able to get your drake in there too. So you just go, all right, Drake, fly, glide from me. See if you can take a look over there at that other ledge and then, holler back. Let me know. Yeah, I mean, I would enjoy a game like that. It sounds awesome. Next up, we've got Intellect. The Drake's intelligence score increases by 4. So you remember earlier when we were talking about where the Drake starts at, right? Where it's like, hey, it's every time it grows, it's going to be getting an increase to strength, a minus to dex, and an increase to constitution, right? We never once mentioned the word intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. All right. So let's say you want your Drake to be able to actually hold a conversation with you. So you take this right here, the intellect, and that's going to boost its intelligence from the 4 it's going to always be at. It's going to boost it up to an 8. So at least it'll have some smarts. And then, the next one you can take after that is keen mind. The Drake's intelligence, wisdom, and charisma score each increase by 2. A Drake must have intellect to select keen mind. So that's the important bit right there, is that this will increase your intelligence up to a 10. Your wisdom is going to be bumped up to a 12, and your charisma is going to be bumped up to a 9. All right. This is without those uh, abilities that get bumped up as you level up. This is just straight up, you know, just increasing your Drake's ability to do things. So let's say you're playing a class that doesn't get a lot of skills. I'm looking at you, paladins. What you can do is you can actually make use of this by letting your Drake be the skill monkey that's attached to your hip at all times. I don't know how good it's going to be at picking locks because, no, disabled device or anything, but it would still be able to have sense motive, diplomacy, survival, heal. It would have all these other things if you wanted it to have it, and you'd be getting 6 plus your intelligence modifier. So let's say you want to be the beef and your Drake can be the brains of the operation, Oh, that guy's lying. He has all the money. Attack. That's your Drake just being super awesome. Good job. Next up, we've got magic attacks, which very descriptively explains that the Drake's attacks count as magic. So it bypasses basic DR. And I mean, if you want your Drake to be an attack animal Drake thing, that could be useful. I mean, there's no level associated with it. It's just straight up, it's it. Next up, the Drake gains the scent ability, which let's explain it real quick. Scent is an extraordinary ability. This special quality allows a creature to detect approaching enemies, sniff out hidden foes, and track by sense of smell. Creatures with the scent ability can identify familiar odors just as humans do familiar sights. The creature can detect opponents within 30 feet by sense of smell. If the opponent is upwind, the range increases to 60 feet. If downwind, it drops to 15 feet. Strong scents, such as smoke or rotting garbage, can be detected as twice the ranges noted above. Overpowering scents, such as skunk musk or troglodyte stench, can be detected at triple normal range. When a creature detects a scent, the exact location of its source is not revealed, only its presence somewhere within range. The creature can take a move action to note the direction of the scent. When the creature is within 5 feet of the source, it pinpoints the source's location. So what this means is if you're a ranger and you have a drake as your companion and you taught it how to track and you're teaching it to go by scent. Whenever it has an enemy, what you can do is you can give the drake a vial or a sponge or something with like some nasty poo poo or something in it and drop it on the bad guy. They run for their life because they realize, oh my god, this drake is actually intelligent, it's going to come kill me. And then you can suddenly track it much easier. But let's keep on going with scent. A creature with a scent ability can follow tracks by smell, making a wisdom or survival check to find or follow a track. The typical DC for a fresh trail is 10, no matter what kind of surface holds the scent. This DC increases or decreases depending on how strong the quarry's odor is, the number of creatures, and the age of the trail. For each hour that the trail is cold, the DC increases by 2. The ability the ability otherwise follows the rules for the survival skill. Creatures tracking by scent ignore the effects of surface conditions and poor visibility. Yeah, so that's scent, which, your Drake companion can get at any time. It can take a power. Next up, swim. The Drake gains a 20-foot swim speed. So let's say you're doing an adventure that goes underwater, right? And your Drake, it needs to swim instead of fly. This is a great way to do it. And again, if you take the water drake, if you take the water drake, you're gonna get swim automatically. So it could be good for that situation. Next up, you've got swim improved. The drake's swim speed improves to 60 feet. To select improved swim, a drake must have swim in the water subtype, and its charge must be at least 7th level. So yay, you've got 60 feet swim speed. You can tell your GM to suck it whenever it's like, I want you to roll swim, and you're like, nah, son, I got 60 feet. Boom. What you gonna do? So this is all the powers that the Drake gets. This is how a Drake basically works. And yeah, so my thoughts on the Drake. So far, I spent maybe 2 years looking over the Drake and going, "Oh man, that'd be so cool," but it looks so weak. But let's be honest, it's going to be getting full Bab. Well, I mean, close to full Bab. It gets Bab equal to its hit die. Its saves are all across the board going to be good saves. You start at a +2 across the board and you end at a +9 across the board. If you don't take any of the intelligence things, your skills are going to cap out at having 60 ranks to play with. You're going to end up with 8 feats, and you're going to end up with a Drake that goes from tiny to small to medium to large to huge. Yeah. So it's going to be a huge dragon that's going to take up, I want to say, 5 squares total at its biggest at level 17. So in the next video I do on the drakes, what we're going to do is we're going to actually build one out and see how it progresses as it levels up. Um, so I've been Professor Phoenix. Thank you for actively paying attention to the entirety of this class. I know it's a long video, and to anyone that stayed, awesome, that's great. Um, to anyone that left, how are you seeing this? It is what it is. I'm really happy to be doing these videos. I've got a Discord that you guys should go and check out absolutely. And if you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and feel free to subscribe. Uh, smash that like button. And yeah, if you want to argue with me about something that the Drake gets, or you're like, it's so underpowered because there are cheetahs that get pounce and rake and they do more damage. Sometimes, bro, it's not about damage. We're not about being OP. We're about making sure that you're having fun around the table and giving you different ideas. Let's see. Also, in the next part of the Drake video, I'm going to go over which archetypes specifically give you a Drake. Which I know, there's not a lot, but I'm going to see if I can find any weird ones and maybe go over the rest of the archetypes with you as well. But for now, you guys just take it easy and keep gaming, all right?
I don't have a catch line or a catchphrase to play me out of the video, so I'm just gonna sing and sing until you guys just click off. Don't forget the thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe. I'm just gonna thank you for watching the video.